high. Actually, I'll compare and contrast two areas. One where one of the reserves I used to work at was a closed system that did a great deal of research into such things. And there were 5 massive bulls in that particular area. Splay, Sneaky, Riffraff, Bombix, and Charles. And they tended to rotate between must cycles. So Riffraff would be in must from March until May, middle of May. We'd all run away from him, because Riffraff in must was horrible. He was a lovely bull, but he was not nice in must. And then, for example, when he came out of must, then Sneaky would go in, and then Splay would go into must, and then Charles would go into must. And they almost seemed to time it so that they rotated through and each had a turn. But that's a very different system to where we are now, because it's a closed system, and you can't really project that onto a much more open system like where we are now. Sorry, I'm now just thinking about Riffraff and must, and what a nightmare he could be. He really was a lovely elephant, though. He got his name Riffraff for a reason. Let's trundle along while we talk about this. Out here, what I've noticed, but is it a coincidence, is it not? I don't really know. There was a period where we just seemed to have every single big bull in must. It was like they'd all synchronized up at the same time, rather than separately. There really was, especially when we were getting a lot of massive bulls outside of Kruger. This elephant's going to go walking straight through Arathusa if he continues on his trajectory. Ah, no, he's going to pop out. Catch up with him. So I don't know if that was just a coincidence. But there seemed to be a sort of, almost like a lot of elephants going into must in one go. And then now hardly any. I've hardly seen any elephant bulls in must. Just trying to see how the situation plays out. He's giving me that sideways look. Hey boy. Just going to stay here for now. I don't want to, the one thing I really don't want to do is make him feel trapped between us and a fence or a building, which is just in front of us. So we're going to keep more distance than we might otherwise, just so that he doesn't feel in any way under pressure. He couldn't be less concerned about the fact that there are so many people around this particular spot. It's a wonderful thing about elephants, and actually most animals, but especially the elephants. They're smart. They know that this is where humans are. They know to expect human beings here. So seeing them doesn't bother them in the same way it might if we were in the middle of the bush and we popped out next to them. And hello to Emma and Olive, 6 years old. Emma and Olive, I'm glad that you're watching once again. You wanted to know, why do elephants stop, or how do elephants stop themselves getting sunburned? Elephants are very, very clever. First of all, they've got very thick skin, so it's not too sensitive to the sun. But elephants, not unlike us, they can't go down to the pharmacy and buy some sunblock, or perhaps the grocery store and buy sunblock. So what they do is they utilize Africa's natural sun cream. And they do that by going and having a mud bath, or even just a dirt bath. Just by throwing layers of dirt over their skin, they can actually protect their skin from the harsh African sun. Because on some days it can get as hot as well over 40 degrees centigrade here, which is into close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So they definitely need to wear sunblock, just like we do, but they do it in a different way. They use mud and dirt. I'm starting to think it might be the best, most natural approach, but I don't think we'd be allowed to wear mud sunblock all the time. Those of you who remember Ryan will remember his guest drive that he did on Safari Live, where he decided to put mud all over my face as Africa's natural sunblock, as he attempted to justify it. go see the weeping boar bean round the back of Arathusa. I think that sounds like a nice idea. I don't want to push any closer to this Ellie bull, or let him come out to us. Otherwise he is going to feel trapped and insecure. So what we were talking about before, with the... What was I talking about? Sunblock. It wasn't that. Oh, I remember what it was. Warthogs. Trapping warthogs that are very, very habituated and used to people and accidentally cornering them. You've obviously... A warthog is dangerous. A 5-ton elephant is also quite dangerous, believe it or not. Definitely not something you want to do. That's where I was going with that sentence. It's amazing how you associate certain places with certain sightings. And this to me will always be my memory of the Tsalala Pride, because it's where I very first saw them with Brian. Must have been well over a year ago now. Walking down along this erosion patch. Sorry, I just want to see what track that was. I don't know exactly where I saw it. It's hyena. It is old hyena. Old squashed hyena tracks. Yes, I'll always think of this spot and associate it with the Tsalala Pride, and we haven't seen in a long time. Actually, Jana and myself saw them recently right on the boundary with Arathusa, but unfortunately they just didn't quite come across to our side. The Tsalala Pride consisting of 3 young males, 1 sub-adult female, and 1 large tailless lioness. This was the first time I'd ever encountered them, and it is amazing what a difference a lion's tail makes to their image. That lioness without a tail is incredibly striking. Very, very different looking. And they were running scared at that point, of course, because the Matimba male lions had moved into their area, which they were a big threat. They'd been pushed out by the Birminghams. The Tsalalas tried to run away from the Matimbas and ended up coming into Birmingham territory anyway. 1 young male arrived with a massive injury on his back hip. He's healed up, he's absolutely fine now. Something that I've been looking at as well, as we're trundling along, making our way into the drainage line area. James Dungan, it's a very good question. You wanted to know why is there less grass growing on Arathusa than there is on Djuma. And I think they had less rain, to be completely honest with you. I mean, Arathusa is one massive seep line, or a lot of Arathusa is a massive seep line. Yet if we stop here, so what I mean by that, just by the way, and actually let us stop here because there's something interesting to talk about as well. You move up a little. Let's start with by looking at the grass. There's hardly any compared to Djuma. I mean, there is very little growth. I think they must have had less rain. As I said, Arathusa is a seep line, which means there's lots and lots of underground water, or there should be in theory. I don't know why it is that there's less grass growth in these patches than there is in Djuma. My only suggestion is that there was less rain, or potentially there was more heavier rain, more fell in one go, washing the top layer of soil away, and therefore actually making it more difficult for the grasses to grow. But I think it's probably the former rather than the latter. The reason I've stopped here, always important to mark out these spots whenever we get to know the different places and memorize where the different animals are walking. This is a massive civet tree. So basically an animal's toilet stop. And it's an animal called a civet, which is a big black and white animal that looks like a cross between a badger and what would it be? A badger and a cat, I suppose. It's also known as a civet cat, but that's misleading because they're not actually cats at all. Within the civet scat, or actually its feces, we can actually throughout a civet tree, we can actually document the seasons from where the civet deposits some scat here, and I'm not going to sift through it because that would be a little gross. I don't mind dung. If we go through here, this is when it was jackalberry fruiting season, when he deposited this dung. Lots and lots of jackalberries, still some millipede exoskeletons. And then as we look further towards the older patches, from last year probably summer, lots and lots and lots and lots of millipede exoskeletons. They're one of the few creatures capable of consuming a millipede. Now a civet stands probably about this tall. Now, they're quite small animals. What's that? About a foot, give or take, just over a foot in height. Now, they're tiny animals. They are quite ferocious when they want to be. But a weird thing to tell you about a civet is that it's got one of the largest, how do I describe this? One of the largest ratios between feces and body size ratio, if that makes any sense. Now this is roughly this civet feces is roughly the size of a large male leopard scat. Possibly even a lioness on a good day when they haven't eaten 2 buffalo in 24 hours. You can see how massive it is. It sounds like a weird thing to comment on, but it is an interesting observation about the civet itself. Whoops, sorry. Walk straight into Gendre's shot there. My apologies. I can't get over how I've bent the bottom of this car. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to take a picture of it quickly. Hold on. No, really, it's terrible. I've done a really bad thing. And I don't quite know how I managed to flick up a stick with that level of force. Look here. Let me pop my earpiece back in quickly. How's the glare there, Gendre? I know it's sort of hard to see from that photo, but that's the bottom of the car. I swear that was not there before. I hope I missed all the vital organs. I must have, it's just a footwell. Dearie me. No wonder it made such a loud thumping sound. Okay. So while we keep that entirely secret between all of us, let's head back across to Brent, who's made his way back to those adorable little fluff balls.
Well, we are very lucky. We came to check on the incredible Nkuhumas, and they've made their way out of the impenetrable thickets that they were in earlier. So we decided to wait to come here before it cooled down, because when the other vehicles came here earlier, they could not get any visual, because they were so deep in the thickets. But our timing has been perfect. As you can see, cubs all over the place getting out to play. I'm going to find a spot where we can get a bit closer and get a bit more of a visual of the cubs. Now, of course, the main entrance is blocked by a Birmingham boy lazing about. There he is. So I'm going to have to go on the other side of the fallen tree. Now, of course, this is the incredible Nkuhuma pride, and Maria is wondering where the word Nkuhuma comes from and what does it mean. Nkuhuma is a brown ivory tree, and the first time this pride was ever seen, they were spotted under a brown ivory tree. So here the cubs are next to a little mud wallow. Now I can only see 2 of the adult lionesses and 6 cubs. VM spotted. Oh, there's the other adult lioness, so the other cubs are probably with her. Oh, 7, 8, no, they're all there. Then if you come out a little bit, underneath that fallen branch, there we go, I just saw that, there's 2 cubs down there. So all 8 are around the edge of the little water hole. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if these lionesses get moving a little bit earlier today, just because that buffalo they killed last night was not very big. You just nip a cousin. Oh, one adult lioness is moving towards us, or at least moving towards the cubs probably rather than us. There she's calling it to the cubs. Oh, look at that! Too cute. Little one running with a stick. Coming right up to the side of us here. She's probably only 6 feet from us now. Oh, here comes a yawn. You can see how close she's going to pass within 2 feet of the front of the car. That is incredible. She's going to go greet the other females. You can see that not starving, but they could definitely eat. And of course, they're lactating, so they do need to feed quite regularly to produce enough milk for the cubs. Now, recently, well, in the last 2 buffalo the Nkuhumas have killed have both been small sub-adult buffalo. And Monique in London is wondering why. Why don't they just go for a big one? Oh, them. Sorry, there was a stalk. Oh, and a pounce. There we go. Well, Monique, there's less risk involved in taking down a sub-adult buffalo. To take down a big adult buffalo bull can be quite a dangerous task, and there's always a chance of injury. So if they can grab a young buffalo, and frequently grab young buffalo, it's obviously there's less chance of them getting injured, and that's the reason why. A little wrestling match going on. Oh, one cub's rushed off to the adults. Now it's going to be interesting to see if the other cubs start going to join her. Oh, I do love the noises they make. Oh, up and over that go. Oh, isn't that amazing? Here you go, Mom giving the little one a bit of a groom. It's one of those difficult sightings we've got. Strangulation. Now, Safari Hayes is wondering, what is the oldest continuously existing lion pride that I know of? I'm not sure. There's so much ebb and flow when it comes to lions. It's very difficult to pinpoint one particular pride. In this part of the world, I think the one I know of that's lasted the longest is probably the Styx pride. Ooh. Big games there. Wouldn't it be funny if they managed to push one into the mud? I'd like to see a lion cub all drenched in mud. Oh, got all in the ear quite painfully there. Now, Joe in Chicago would like to know whether the cousins will stay with the pride for life. Well, if they're females, Joe, they will. Of course, if they're males, they will be pushed out eventually. Oh, flop, Mom. We're going to start hearing the whining. Bite that tail! Now, sometimes they can get quite upset with each other during these little playing sessions, and you can hear the growls become a little bit more serious. Lots of rough and tumble happening. Oh, there's a Cape turtle dove wandering through. Let's see if any of the lions spot it. It'll be far too quick for the cubs to catch. Oh, there's another one landing, coming to have a drink. I think at this age the lion cubs might realise that the turtle dove's got a bit too much speed in its wings. Actually got a fright from the turtle doves, that little one. Yeah, that was a bit more of a serious argument. Oh, as the turtle dove landed again. Oh no, he's off. The smallest cub was stalking very unsubtly. Oh, now it's spotted a spider hunting wasp. You can see it just buzzing around just in front. Now if you bite that little one, that will sting you very sore. Oh, trophy stick. Oh, just watch the other little one on the other side. Looks like it might almost fell in. No, deciding that's not a good place to walk there. It's much better to play with elephant dung than spider hunting wasps. That's a lion's equivalent of the beach, lying next to a mud wallow. Still got the trophy stick. Let's go parade it in front of everyone else, see if anyone tries to steal it from me. Oh, there's a look of thievery in the one's eye. Now, River, who's 9 years old, would like to know, would the mothers help a cub that was getting bullied too much or bitten too hard by... Oh, look at it go! Sorry, River. Yes, they would sometimes. Not always, but if it did get a little bit too serious, they would. Oh, I think we're here at the right time as the cubs are going to start playing. Everything's a useful toy when you're little. And you can see the claws extended there, pushing down that branch while chewing on the dry branch. Tax. Taxes in Nkuhumas are very, very nice at the moment. All the mumpimpans are out and fluttering around those mud wallows. Copy, no problem. Sorry, last station, go again. FM, yeah, same place. Now, ooh, what did they spotted up in the tree? Probably another turtle dove. Now, James Richard is wondering if all the female cubs in this pride survived, would the pride extend its territory? Not necessarily, as long as there's enough. The only time they'd really start pushing for more territory is if there wasn't enough food. So that's what the cubs are watching, a grey go-away bird. Another one coming in. Ooh. There's a bit of flirting going on. Love is in the air and the go-away birds. Oh, there's a cub, another cub coming in from the right. He's just been with the females. They're going to use the stealthy stalk approach or the wander in and flop approach. So as I was just saying, that the only time they would expand is if there wasn't enough food in the territory. But at the moment I can't see that happening. Even if all the cubs made it to adulthood, there's enough food around. Oh look, there we go, wrestle match again. Just too wonderful to be able to spend time with these little guys. Still got the trophy stick. Those two are still going at it. Now, the temperature's dropping, and I'm hoping that the adults get on the move, although I think it's still a while till then, but fortunately we've got the little ones to keep us highly entertained, and they are very busy at the moment. So while we sit here to see what happens next with the incredible Nkuhumas, let's go back to Jamie and see what she's up to.
Oh, we have left Arathusa for now and come back to Djuma, the land of the slightly smoother bumps in the road. And it actually doesn't make any sense for those of you who are unfamiliar with what I'm talking about. The bumps in the road that I'm referring to, we're about to go over one now. They are not speed bumps, they are called bolsters, and they're constructed just like speed bumps to allow for the control of the flow of water along the roads. Sorry. Oh man, this must have been last night. That's a hyena track that I'm looking at in the middle of an elephant track actually, which is quite nice. But what I'm trying to show you, but I can't because the way is blocked by a very large fallen stump. Let's see if there's another patch here. I've got both Tingana's and Shadow's tracks going south towards our boundary. Now that must have been from last night. So at some point our leopards paid us a visit and then went off again. There we go. There's Tingana's tracks there. I saw Shadow's tracks as well. I say Shadow's tracks, there we go. You can see clearly that those tracks are not fresh. They're leopard tracks, but they are not very clear at all. Now, Shadow's tracks were a little bit in the middle of the road. I think they've already been driven over. The reason I say Shadow's tracks and Tingana's, most likely Tingana, just because he spends the most amount of time on Djuma, and I say Shadow because she's been spending so much time with Tingana. And they must have crossed, this must have been when they crossed south into Hoffman's, which is the property. Brent is occupied with those lions, and we have double. A really nice sighting. So I think that's my plan for this evening. We'll trundle along there since I've had very little mammal success this afternoon. They all appear to be hiding away from me. We have had some spectacular birds though. That lilac-breasted roller sighting may have been the best lighting ever. Afternoon stations, is there anybody with those Ngala on Gari Cutline? Let's go see if we can... Oh! And you know what's exciting about that is where I found that genet nest as well. It's very, very close to where I found that genet nest. So we can go and settle ourselves there. Copy that. Are you happy for me to make my way there?
Confirm we would rest the pride on Jiga Road.
Copy. Okay. So Brent says no one there. They're with the rest of the pride further south of where those lions are. And there's a very good chance they're going to go looking for each other, which could even mean some serious roaring as it starts to get dark and cooler. But I am really excited about the prospect of this genet as well. I'd forgotten it with all of the chaos of the rehearsals. I had completely forgotten about that sighting, but I'm convinced that that genet lives there during the day. Our genet, like the civet we were talking about before, is a weird animal that looks like a cross this time between a mongoose and a cat. And it's a rare-ish, they're not rare, but they are very shy nocturnal creatures. I'm hoping that'll be something that we get to see as well. Wildebeest. Lovely. Hello, boy. I was hoping it might be our wildebeest herd, actually, who I've seen more and more of recently. As you know, our wildebeest, all of our female wildebeest will be pregnant. No, don't go. Oh dear. He's being skittish. Okay. He seems to be relaxed. His head's down again. So we can try and reposition. Oh, here we go. He's going to move out into the open. A male blue wildebeest, one that we are familiar with in this particular area. His territory extends all the way down towards a treehouse dam and then up towards the Balanites tree to the north of us. Amazing how we get to know the individual animals that we see. Look, I mean, we could be seeing different wildebeest, but it's unlikely. The males are territorial, and essentially they compete for the most attractive territory, which in turn will make a more attractive prospect for the females, and then hopefully they will come and join him in that spot. So wildebeest territories tend to be smaller along waterholes, or around waterholes and rivers in places where there's good food, and slightly larger in the less desirable neighborhoods, essentially. So it's kind of like the centers of cities, being the accommodation is much, much smaller, and then you move further and further to the outskirts and the properties get larger and larger. Wildebeest territories work in quite a similar fashion. Trying to pretend he's an impala now, blending in with the rest of the herd. We're not fooled, Mr. Wildebeest. A very, very good question from Bill, which is why are antelope so successful even in a drought? It's a good question. It's a very, very good question. One of the big reasons that's put forward is, especially for the mixed feeders like the impala, they've obviously got access to trees and leaves, and in fact all of the antelopes, I have noticed, even the ones that are primarily grazers like the wildebeest, I have seen them nibbling on leaves to supplement their diet in the drier months when there's been very, very little grass. So the ruminant ability is probably one of the keys to their success. The fact that they chew as much as they do, chewing their food. I'm afraid our wildebeest is gone and now our impala have gone as well. This is most frustrating. Goodbye. The fact that they repeatedly chew, so they swallow the food, chew the food once, swallow it, bring it back up again, chew it again, and swallow it again. That lengthy digestive process means, as you've seen, their dung is very, very fine. Let's find some. Here's some very fine dung, since our antelope have all gone. So if I go and grab some of their dung, you'll see how finely digested their food is. And that's one of the key ways that they've managed to survive the drought, is just by really properly digesting their food. Here we go. If we have a look at this, if we crumple it up and have a look, you can see just how finely digested this dung really is. And that's one of the biggest keys to their success throughout the drought. It also means that they can get as much protein as possible out of it, which is all key of their success. So there's lots of discussions. I'll probably throw that away now. Probably don't need to keep it. Lots of discussions about why there are so many different types of antelope and why they have been so successful, not excluding drought, just in general. And one of the key reasons is that the ruminant digestive system is very adaptable to different types of food. Whether it is the Daker diet in the central forests that consists mainly of fruit, or whether it is the wildebeest of the plains, or the sitatungas and the waterbuck and the lechwe of the more watery habitats. The ruminant digestive system seems to be one that is very easy to adapt to different situations. So there you go. That's why antelope have been so successful. Unlike zebra, although zebra have survived, I must say, relatively well, because on the flip side of that, they're hindgut fermenters and they're bulk grazers, which means they could just eat and eat and eat and eat until their nutritional requirements are met. So it's kind of the diametric opposite. They don't bother to waste time digesting food properly. They just process it very, very quickly. Elephants do the same thing, and as we've seen, the elephants aren't doing so well. Why then are buffalo not looking so good? Probably because they're bigger. They need more food to maintain their size, and they need more nutrients. And they are bulk grazers. Perhaps their digestive system's not as adaptable as that of an antelope, so they aren't looking as good. Right, I'm going to start racing so we can try and find those lions before it gets dark. Let's head back across to Brent, who already has his.
Well, not much has changed except for the cubs carrying on with their shenanigans. Look at that, isn't that wonderful? Now, a lot of the behavior we're seeing from these lion cubs is instinctive. And Jay Atkinson was wondering, if we had to release captive bred lions into the wild, would those instincts take place? They would, most definitely, Jay. But there's other problems. Sorry, someone's just calling me. Oh, look at that, big tackle. Okay, someone else is handling it. So, Jay, now the problem is, it's not that they wouldn't know how to be lions. So one of the biggest problems that threatens releasing captive bred lions into the wild is, one is their genetics. they could be quite inbred, and so their genetic lines might not be good for the wild population. Oh, look at this. I'm sorry, Jay, I keep getting distracted by the cubs playing. I will answer it fully in more detail. Ooh. Big games. Okay, there we go. They've calmed down a bit. So one of the other biggest problems outside of the genetics is they do not have. They've lost their instinctive fear of man, which is a very big problem. So, and they would probably be a huge danger to anyone out on safari. Quite often, those lions are fed from the back of vehicles, so they associate cars with food, and people walk past their cages or enclosures all the time, and they don't have that instinctive fear that a wild lion has. Oh, bless you, Birmingham. He just had a big sneeze and sat up. A rather bemused look on his face. Oh, here comes the yawn. Or another sneeze. That's the yawn. Yes, sorry. So they pose a major threat to human beings. So wild lions, if we walk into them on foot, 99.9% of the time, they actually, during the day, will try and move away from you. At night, that's different. That's their domain. Oh, another big yawn. And a captive bred lion might sink those big canines into a human being. And as I said, coupled with the genetics, and coupled with the fact that he's got a stick stuck in his mane, he does too. Coupled with the fact that also the wild lion populations in a lot of areas of South Africa, for example, are quite stable and healthy, the greater Kruger. And if you had to now go release a couple of hundred captive bred lions in here, most of them would probably come to an end at the hands of a wild lion, or the paws rather, and the teeth. Male lions sometimes do have the most bemused looks upon their faces. Oh, another big yawn. Now, he's busy being stalked by a cub. Here we go. Very slow stalk coming from behind. Is he going to go for the tail? Patience. It almost looks like he's falling asleep while having a scratch. A second cub joining the stalk. Now, male lions are incredibly tolerant of cubs compared to adult females or other males for that matter. Oh, here we go. Thwarted. Let me just move forward a meter so those sticks are out of the way. How's that, Deb? Oh, he's going back to sleep. Now, Weedy in Washington is wondering, at what age will the male lion stop being so tolerant of the cubs around a kill? Normally, as soon as they get close to a year, and well, sometimes they will tolerate them even at that age, but generally around a year he'll be far less tolerant of the cubs sharing a kill with him. That one's got tired of playing. Oh no, it's a big stalk. It is just too wonderful watching them. So you see, all this playing behavior is instinctive. To pounce, grab, bite, go for the jugular. And they're born with those instincts. Oh. Are you going back? Oh, no, changing mind. Can't decide whether to go up to the male or not. Itchy chin. Leopard calling. Let me just see where Jamie is. Jamie. Jamie, Jamie, what's your position? I've got leopard audio from where I'm sitting with the lions. I would say Mumba, Drakensberg area. Oh, thanks. So I just heard a leopard sawing down towards the east of us, not too far. I would say around Drakensberg Road somewhere. Just that. Did you hear it, Fim? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys might have heard it in Final Control at home, but there's a leopard calling. You can see what he thinks of the leopard call. He's not perturbed at all. Oh, Vim, he's looking at you. Okay, let's have a look what happens here. So he's slightly he's being very, very tolerant today. Massive canines. Oh, now he's coming back towards us. sniffing the tree. Showing a little phlegm grimace there, so one of the other lions might have urinated there. Oh, where to next? Back to the big boy, back to the cubs. Decisions to make. Looks like he's heading back towards the rest of the cubs. They've slowed down their playing a little bit, and the lionesses are, as I say that, pounce. Piece of bark, trophy bark. Ooh, danger from above. Almost don't know where to look. There's so much stuff happening with these little ones. Oh, there's the stalk posture. Oh, here we go. Oh, next one heading back to the male. No, maybe not. Oh, there we go. Well, William is wondering, wouldn't the lions become alert from a leopard calling nearby? It'd have to be right next to them to really gather any real... Oh, next cub on Dad. To gather any real reaction from them. That was still a kilometre or so away. So no real threat at all. The lions are not at all perturbed by a leopard. Now, that leopard's being quite vocal. And I'm hoping Jamie's going to be able to find that leopard. And let's go see how her search for the leopard is going.
All thoughts of racing off towards the lions had been derailed by the message from Brent about that leopard calling. Hello, Ellies. Do you mind if I come through nice and slowly? Thank you, girls. Yes. So as much as I would like to stop for the Ellies, we have spent a bit of time with elephants recently, and we have not seen a leopard in a long time. So my approach here, since I'm all on my own in terms of searching for it, and we were quite far away, is to race to get a little bit closer to where Brent says he thought the sound was coming from, and work my way out from there, and perhaps just stop and listen for the leopard calling, that deep sawing sound that they make. I'm hoping that leopard's going to soar relatively quickly, or relatively soon, which is why I'm trying to race to where Brent, or closer to where Brent heard the sound. Now it's getting cool, it's quite a cool evening. Brent's direction is amazing, sense of direction is amazing, so I have no doubt he's sending us in the right direction. But it would be next to impossible for him to pinpoint the exact distance from where he's sitting, which is why I'm trying to work my way from the inside out, if that makes sense. So between Brent and the sound, and then towards the sound. Because if it is a leopard and it's moving away from us and away from Brent, then it's going to cross our boundary very, very soon, if where Brent says it is true. If it's not, it's a little bit closer, then we have a good chance of spotting it. Maybe even it's coming in this direction. And we'll keep our eyes peeled as we head off into the darkness. Could it be Tingana? Could it be Karula? I don't know. I just know that I desperately would love to see either of them. Any of the leopards. Okay. And Sarah, no, I didn't. I didn't hear that Karula and Shadow... Thank you. Excuse me. Karula and Shadow were sharing a kill. I assume... Sorry. That's a very interesting news posted by Coral. I assume that often leopards share kills without really wanting to truly come into conflict with each other. But it does make me wonder whether or not Tingana's presence in the area as well, even if he wasn't seen, if perhaps he was the reason that they were together. Remember how we had Tingana come through with Shadow, and remember how angry Karula was at that intrusion. Hello Buffalo, have you seen a leopard? Alright, we're going through a bit of a dip here. We have to go through it. Hopefully we keep our signal and go up the other side as quickly as possible. But thank you so much, Sarah. I didn't hear that update, so that's very, very interesting. Wonder where they were. Hey. And now we wait and listen. Very carefully.
That's marked.
I just heard an African cuckoo as well. Okay. Come on, leopard. It should be roughly now that it would be calling again. I'm trying to listen also for any alarm calls. I don't want to take my earpiece out completely. I think Brent said it was probably further along this road. Oh, there's a cuckoo for us, calling. Red-chested cuckoo. Come on, leopard. Just babblers and franklins for now. Okay. And fish eagles. There's nothing quite like the profound silence of the bush at night. Even though you've got all the surface noise around you, and I'm just looking around Chandre's head now at all of the mosquitoes that have already gathered. Chandre's doing this. There are so many mosquitoes. Let's keep moving. Let's see if we can't get a bit closer to where Brent thought the sound was coming from. Q-Fam has a question for us. Hello, Q-Fam. It is lovely to hear from you. You want to know if this is in Africa? Yes, it is indeed in Africa. To be more specific, the southernmost country in Africa, South Africa. And to be even more specific than that, we are on Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Sabi Sand in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa. So right up in the top northeastern corner of this magnificent country is where we are, in a place that is famous for its big cat sightings and all kinds of amazing sightings in between. Not just about the big cats, although they are wonderful. This is nice because it gives us something to look at while we wait. Sorry, I'm going to reposition. That should be okay. Let's just sit and wait, actually. And just sit and listen to the sound of the elephant feeding and wait for that leopard to call again. What's it after? Daniel from Scotland, he wanted to know how far away we can hear a leopard calling from. It depends, believe it or not, on whether or not it is a cold or a warm day. So Daniel, on the coldest day, the sound actually travels further. Sorry, excuse me. I've been desperately looking for the tissues that we keep in the vehicle, but they seem to have gone walkabout. Daniel, on a cold day, it will travel a little bit further, so you're probably looking up to about... Hello, little boy. You're probably looking at up to about maybe, at the most, 4 or 5 kilometers. It's not quite as far-reaching as the sound of a lion roar, for example. It is not quite as loud. Now, if Brent says that he can hear it, I think that would be a distance from where he says he thought he heard it. That's probably a distance of about 3.5 kilometers. While we wait patiently for our leopard to pop out, let's head it back across to Brent and his lionesses.
The girls have spotted something. They've started stalking towards the west. We're going to switch into infrared shortly. There's not much light left, and I don't know what they've seen. And, oh, big boy's up. Oh, he'll probably go ruin the hunt. Unless it's a buffalo, of course, then he's quite useful. The cubs will probably stay right here. So we're going to leave them. I'm going to head back up towards the road to see where those lions are going. How can I get through there, Vian? So we are going to be switching, as I said, to infrared shortly, and that's going to be in black and white. We've still just got enough ambient light around from the setting sun to maybe work out what's going on. But soon we're going to lose them. Unless we put lights on them. But isn't this exciting? We could be going with the incredible Nkuhumas on a hunt. And this is why we've been waiting here. And of course it's wonderful to be with the cubs while they are being cute and playful. But to see lions hunting at night is just one of the most incredible and special things. It's something that very few people get to witness. There we go, black and white into infrared mode, There's the male. The lionesses are up ahead of him. Then can we just do a scan in front of me to the right? Maybe with the infrared we might be able to pick up something just from there and off to the right. That's where the lions are looking. I can't see anything just yet. Forward view a bit, Vim, so we can see one of the lead lionesses. Okay, as you can see, while you're on me, we're out of infrared, and there's a very good reason for this. If I had to look into the infrared light, it would actually damage my eyes. So, yeah, I see the lioness. I think there's something here, Vim. So the lions are coming up behind us, so we just could be the semi-dark playing tricks on me. I thought I saw movement through there. Those lions still moving. Well, there are an incredible amount of buffalo around at the moment. So that big herd came through this area earlier today. You never know, they might have left a straggler. That's where the lions might pop out. Let me just go back a little bit. And the lions should be popping out to my left very shortly. You see them? Right, Vim, a little bit forward. There we go. There she is. What have you spotted, madam? Trying to listen. Now, if it was a buffalo or something like that, I might be able to hear them. A foot stamp, maybe a moo, a bellow. At the moment, all I can hear is cicadas. Now, there's definitely something that's got them up and interested. Of course, their hearing is infinitely better than ours. There we go, second lioness. Now where's the third? How James Richardson said, there isn't a better way to end Saturday, Catterday, than with a lion hunt. Well, I'm not sure if they're quite ready for hunting yet. They definitely heard something. They might go flat again. That's what lions do quite often. Oh, looks like they're going back towards the cubs. Hear them snorting next to me. I can't see them though. Ah, there we go. There's one. Two. And the male. Look at that. Isn't that amazing as we switch? So whatever initially attracted their attention, and the third lioness is coming in from the back. There we go. Has lost their attention again. Okay, while we move around, keep with these lions as they move through the dark African night. Let's go see what Jamie's up to.
No sign and no sound of this mysterious calling leopard. I've been sitting here since you left me, and then I carried on a little bit to where Brent suggested the leopard might be, and so far all I've found has been elephants. Lots and lots of very content, very peaceful looking elephants. I'm not sure exactly where this leopard is hiding, but it isn't along this road, or the elephants would definitely have been thoroughly disgruntled. They very often chase predators. No, nothing here. Okay, well, it was a good idea. We're not going to give up. We're going to keep trying until the end of the sunset safari. But I'm not going to push past these elephants in the dark, so we'll go back along the road we've come from and see what we can find there. Let's see how we do. See how they feel about us. So where Brent suggested the sound was coming from is just a little bit up ahead of us. Such an unfortunate thing that we were so far away, because that leopard's now had a head start. Hello guys. Just coming through. Nice and slow. Hello, hello. It's always a little bit eerie in the dark when you can see elephants, but because the vegetation is so thick, or at least you can hear them, but you can't see exactly where they are. There we go. I think we're home and through out the other side. Oh, sorry, little one. Woof! Gave me a little trumpet just to show me who's boss. There's a little baby elephant. I've definitely been put in my place, thoroughly chastised. Hopefully Mom doesn't come to see what little one was fussing about. Right. Leopard. Where could you be? I'm also trying to just double check on the ground for tracks. Unfortunately, Jigger's lights are not... Actually, might be better to have them on dims. Might help. This is a perfect time to be looking for a leopard. Out and about, walking around as it starts to get dark. I'd love to know which leopard it is. I so hope we get to see it before the end of the sunset safari, whilst dodging enormous amounts of elephant damage. I'm just guessing at where this leopard... Oh, excuse me. It's springtime. Sorry. It's actually not spring, it's summer, but there's lots of pollen about. I'm guessing at where this leopard might have gone, hoping the guess is going to prove to be correct. But it's impossible for us to tell, and it's very difficult to track as it gets dark. Oh, I found lots of eyes. Not leopard eyes, though, unfortunately. Looks like it is the eyes of impala. No luck with our mysterious leopard. We'll have to try once again on the sunrise safari. Time to do a quick goodbye and thank you. So thank you to Genre for his fantastic camera work, and thank you to all of you for joining us, for sending through your questions and your comments. I look forward to seeing you at the start of the sunrise safari tomorrow morning. Until then, bye bye everybody, and have a wonderful day.
So we had to move back a little bit. The lions came so close we couldn't actually see them in the car. So whatever they were focused on, they're now no longer focused on, and they came back to the cubs. And they're probably going to do a little bit of feeding again before they move out. And it could be in 5 minutes, it could be in 5 hours. And you never know with lions. And hopefully that leopard that was calling earlier will be around come the sunrise. There's another cub, I think. Oh, my eyes might be playing tricks on me coming in from the right. Oh, there it is, yes. So incredible, I cannot see it. I just saw something that looked like a little bit of movement. Oh, he's got a stick. And Saturday, Cataday, has only produced the largest cat species in Africa, the lion. Hopefully Sunday will be leopard day. Oh, now this infrared does give us that extra time with the lions and the cubs. Of course, we don't white light or use spotlights on cubs after dark. But having the infrared capabilities means we can spend that extra time with these incredible animals. And of course, they're always more active after dark. Not really want to cycle, just want to lie close to my cousins and brothers and sisters. Oh, back to the stick. You can see another cub just at the back there behind a fallen knob thorn. And there's the other lioness there. And the third lioness is off to the right somewhere. I can hear her, I can't see her. Somewhere in that direction there. Oh, there she is. The male's lying behind us somewhere. Oh, we can hear the growling. Managed to muscle their way in. Now we are coming towards the end of this sunset safari, and it's been full of lions, all in Nkuhumas and one Birmingham, and hopefully they'll be out and about again on the sunrise safari. So we're just going to switch so we don't disturb them, and we will go back to infrared shortly, just after I've said goodbye. So from them and myself, hopefully the morning is full of lions and leopards, but for the last couple of seconds, let's spend them with those lovely lion cubs. Fiery neck nightjar calling. One of the quintessential African sounds that makes it into most Hollywood movies that are set in the south of the United States. But on that slightly strange note, goodbye from us and the Nkuhumas. See you bright and early for the sunrise safari.